4 months ago, I committed to a hair growth challenge. And on this channel, I'm constantly documenting my journey of going from shaved to tailbone length. And now you're a part of this journey with me. But in this video, I'm sharing my real and raw results, absolutely no cap. And I'm breaking down the one thing I actually missed from this challenge that if I would have included it, it would have totally changed my results. So the challenge that I did, it was a beast mode length retention challenge, and it consisted of two main parts. The first part was the length retention part, and the second part was the hair growth stimulation side of it. Now, for length retention, what that meant is I started the challenge with a trim or a dusting. That's what I did. That was to remove any split ends, any single strand knots, so that I was pretty much starting on, in a good place. Now, protective styling was obviously a big part of this challenge. So my hair was typically always in either twists or plaits. And then to protect those twists or plaits even further, I would always tuck them away. Either I'd put it in a bun and make sure that my ends are tucked in, or I would do something called vine wrapping. Sometimes I was protecting my ends with flaxseed gel as well. And the protective styling was really just to make sure it was low manipulation. So I wasn't constantly touching my hair all the time for no reason, and also low tension. I didn't want to put any, tension or tightness on my scalp or my edges or anything. Part of the challenge was to ensure that I was wearing my own hair, ideally not wearing wigs or braids or anything like that. And that allowed me to always get to my scalp and have accessibility to my ends as well, to keep them re-moisturized. So that is something I did. I was only ever wearing my own hair. And I am really thankful that because my hair has grown to this length now, I do feel very, very comfortable wearing my own hair. Whereas I am aware that when you're really, really at the start of the journey, particularly that kind of teeny weeny afro stage, it can be a bit challenging to wear your own hair out. But that was something that I did for the challenge, and it worked really well. It was really key for me to moisturize and seal my hair on a set schedule. And again, that is what I did. I would re-moisturize by just adding some kind of liquid. Typically it's aloe vera juice mixed in with a bit of tea tree oil and water. I would spray that on my scalp and also re-moisturize either with some leave-in, or usually I would just go straight to Jamaican black castor oil. Throughout the challenge, I was doing my best to wash my hair regularly. Now, I typically wash my hair every 2 weeks without fail. So that is what I aimed to do through this challenge. But it was a bit of a challenge because my husband and I, we were working on a massive, massive project. Once this challenge started, literally a month into it, we started on this project. And that kind of did derail me a little bit. Throughout the 4 months, I was definitely taking care of my ends. I wasn't leaving them out. I wasn't letting them get dry. I was really doing my best to give extra moisture to them, to vine wrap them, to seal them, to keep them protected. That was a really big part of it. And then also, sounds really basic, but just keeping my headscarf on, particularly at nighttime. I would try to do it anytime anyway, if I'm lying down or something like that. But that was a big part of it. I kept my hair wrapped up quite a lot. It was under scarves quite a lot during this 4 month challenge. And the last big part of the challenge was to make sure that I didn't use any heat and I didn't trim unnecessarily. Now, I did actually trim my hair slightly. I did a bit of a dusting, but that was only really to reduce a few single strand knots and split ends that I had noticed when I was redoing my hair. But I wasn't going in with like a full trim or anything like that. And I definitely didn't use any heat on my hair during these 4 months. Now, I mentioned that there was two parts to the challenge. There was the length retention, and then there was the hair growth stimulation. The hair growth stimulation is the part of the challenge where I fell down and I didn't do as best as I could. I did as best as I could, but I just wasn't as consistent as I wanted to be with that part of the challenge. And that's where I feel like if I really would have pushed it, if life wasn't so busy at the time, then I would have been able to do much better in that area. And I believe I would have been able to see even more growth. Right. So these are my results from the 4-month challenge. Remember, I started on I started on the 1st of September, but I didn't measure my hair until the 12th of September, and the challenge ended on the 27th. So overall, it was around about 1 to 2 inches of growth in general across my hair. The middle clearly grew a lot more, and the front and the back grew around about 1 inch. Okay, so the hair growth stimulation side of the challenge involved massaging my scalp every day, oiling my scalp every other day, increasing the amount of exercise because it increases blood flow to the scalp, drinking 2 liters of water again every day. Now, that's something that I definitely found difficult to do because the project we were working on, I didn't even have access to a bathroom. So that meant that drinking that much water would have been a challenge. My aim was to increase the amount of protein and omega-3 and vitamins as well by having different kind of foods like leafy greens, fatty fishes, nuts, seeds, fruit and veg, things like that. And again, I don't feel like I was able to really push that as much as I would have wanted to. And lastly, I really aim to take MSM on this journey as well, because the last time I tried MSM, man, I think my hair grew, it was something like 2 inches in less than a month, or I can't remember, but the figures were crazy. So I did want to do that MSM again, but unfortunately, the headaches were just causing a bit too much of a challenge. And so I just decided that it wasn't going to work for me. Instead, what I did do was I started to put some MSM in my water spray bottle. And that was something that probably has helped my length retention as well. Or in that situation, it would actually be my hair growth. That's what it impacted, my hair growth, not necessarily my length retention. And if you're watching this but thinking, okay, but what do I actually do though? Because knowing what worked for me over those 4 months is helpful, but it doesn't tell you how to set up your routine properly so that you start seeing growth from day one. So I made a video breaking down exactly how I would grow my hair to mid back length if I was starting all over again in 2026. So watch that next, especially if your hair has been stuck at one length for a really long time and you don't want to waste another year.